territory where Carlos Bulosan once lived to tell the story of the rain, sweat, glory of Mike Jackson men who fight the destination we were destined to end. Left a writing on the wall in the halls of the Nippon Khan. Others transformed, majority Decepticons. But my conception of the...
Oh yeah, here we go. Episode 47, Kev.
It's
47.
not the Bob Wells episode, by the way.
No, but I did some work because I felt ashamed last time.
Well, people were like, I put it in the chapters, right? Intro, Bob Wells. Someone screenshots one of our listeners, Eric, screenshots the Bob Wells thing, goes, I'm sold. I'm in. I'm listening.
Yes. There are some people, that can just vibe with me on those random Mariners. And we just are, and you have the same thing. It's just different eras.
Yeah.
So that's Kevin. I'm Brian. This is the Way for It Seattle podcast. You can find us on the Seatown Sports Substack, where sometimes we write, sometimes we don't, but we'll see.
Do you think we have like Ryan Russillo, Bill Simmons chemistry yet?
No, because one of us, so Ryan Russillo is so grumpy, and I don't think either of us are grumpy on the podcast, which is good. You're definitely not. You're not a grumpy guy. It's not how you roll. I can be grumpy. I've been told by many. I'm not often, when I'm with students, but when I coach, people thought I was grumpy. So speaking of coaching, real quick, Felix had a basketball tournament today.
No highlight tapes.
No highlight tapes. He was exhausted from his weekend, so he was playing with low fumes. But I often get called in to be this scoreboard or scorebook person by the coach. He knows I know what I'm doing, and it's going to be easy for him. I won't, Today I had to do both. So I had the manual scoreboard with the left hand and the scorebook with the right hand. No big deal, by the way.
Did anyone yell at you? Like, that's
absolutely not. I'm on it. First of all, it's running clock, so it's not hard, right? You're +1 on the left hand. It's not that hard. I did have a conversation. First of all, two of the refs were refs I've had in high school before. The coach of the other team was getting after it with the refs, like on the court, blocking me, talking to them. I couldn't believe they didn't tee him up. Like,
Reminder,
I would have never
fifth grade A.
Fifth grade. I never would have been allowed to be on the court like this man was. And there was a rule, no trapping in this game. And he kept saying that at the beginning of the game. And I'm really calm, Kev. Like, you've even seen me coach. Like, I'm a pretty calm coach.
Yeah.
I said to him once his team trapped, because he couldn't stop talking about our team trapping, I'm on the scoreboard. I'm not supposed to talk, obviously. And I was like, my guy, you're trapping. And he's like, what do you mean? That's not a trap. That's just two guys. I'm like, that's what a trap is. I've coached for 20 years. I know what a trap is. Then I was like, oh God, I can't believe I pulled out that I coached for 20 years line, And he goes, I didn't call for them to trap. I said, absolutely not. I'm not saying you did, but your team trapped and you were talking about the other team trapping. I was just pointing it out. And he's like, yeah, you got it. You're good, man. You're good. Yeah, you're right. And he fist bumped me and we were good the rest of the day.
There you go.
So,
see,
that's good. So I was a little hesitant.
Yeah,
I diffused it. I didn't escalate.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Felix's team won a medal, won by 25 points. So there you go.
Nice. Congrats, Felix. And congrats for you for...
By the way, he's listening right now to last week's episode because Lincoln told him that you, quote, glazed him in the episode. So there you
go. Christine watched the highlight tape and she went on this whole thing because I was telling her about the perm. She goes, wait, does Podziemski have a perm?
He definitely does.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Okay. Well, she looked it up and she can't get a straight answer. So
could she find a picture of him
before?
Like at his let's get Christine on this. Yeah. See if she can Google some Illinois early highlight tapes and see if he had different hair.
If he had different hair, yeah.
Yeah, because at Santa Clara he had that hair, but he only played 1 year there.
Our intro's getting a little long, but I just want to add one more.
I have so many more things to the intro, so it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was watching the Warriors last night, and Gary Payton Jr. is obviously on the team, or is it Gary Payton the second? I always get it.
Gary Payton the second.
Okay,
yes.
Gary Payton the second. So sorry. Okay, people
it's
may not know. It's
easy to confuse because he has, I believe.
Yeah, he has a Gary Payton. Jr.
So yes, he has two sons named Gary.
I played against Gary Payton Jr.
Oh,
and. They have like the in-house boys and club league, so it wasn't for Rotary, but it was this was like in third grade or fourth grade.
Yeah.
And Gary Payton Jr. was He was buff. He threw
Yeah.
some weight around.
Yeah,
But
no,
anyways,
the in-house Rotary League is legit. They have like 8 Rotary third grade teams just beating the hell out of each other
yeah.
with kids who are really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so when Gary Payton II took off, I was like, this doesn't make sense because I'm already like graduated from
Yeah,
college.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it doesn't compute. And apparently there's Gary Payton II and Gary Payton Jr.
I mean, how amazing is it that he named one son Gary Payton Jr. Then he's like, no, that's not enough to have my illustrious name continue. I'm also gonna have a Gary Payton II.
By the way, this is why I was getting there.
Yeah.
Gary Payton was in the stands of the Warriors game
Yes.
last night.
Did you see what he was wearing?
He was wearing a Seattle sweater.
Like straight out of a tourist shop.
Yeah, everyone in the arena is wearing Warriors. I mean,
Yeah.
it's at Chase Center. He's just showed up to the game.
Yeah,
with
not a
Seattle
Sonics,
sweater.
not a Sonics sweatshirt.
No.
It's just one of those ones you see like next to the Sleepless in Seattle gear in
Yeah.
the tourist shops that just
Yeah.
says Seattle across the
I
chest.
like had to rewind.
It was
because
so great.
It was so cool.
I
Yeah,
totally
love
noticed it too. It was so good. It was so good. Okay, I have something else for you, but let's jump into podcast number 47. Kev, I told you I did some work on this. So are you ready? This episode is not the Bob Wells episode. It might be the Sherman Smith episode for the Seattle Seahawks, 9th all-time leading rusher. Almost made our top 100, did not. It could be the Matt Brash episode.
Is he injured still?
He is. He's coming. He's coming soon. He needs to come soon because Trent Thornton needs to stop pitching the 8th inning. It could be the John Mabry, 2 short stints in Seattle.
Dude, that is. Yeah,
Or the Gene
is
Harris for the Seattle Mariners. Okay?
I don't know who that is.
You shouldn't. Fun fact about Gene Harris, though. When the Mariners traded Brian Holman in 1990, I think it was 1990, to the Montreal Expos. This is all off the dome, by the way.
Yeah.
They received back. Sorry, I messed that up. When they traded Mark Langston, they received back Brian Holman, Randy Johnson, and Gene Harris. So there you go. Gene Harris episode. He's part of one of the best trades ever.
By the way, you have to rank these 3 former Mariners: Gene Harris, Gino Suarez, and Gene Segura. Rank them.
Gino Suarez number 1, Gene Segura number 2, Gene Harris number 3. Gino Suarez is in my top 5 all time. I love Gino Suarez.
Can you
He's
believe
one of my favorite Mariners.
he pulled off a feat last night, hitting 4 home runs that only 19 major leaguers have ever pulled off? Like, there are less 4 home run games than perfect games,
Yeah.
and 2 Mariners have done it.
Gino Suarez.
incredible.
It's really bothering people how his home runs this year because, the Mariners just kind of gave him up.
But he is only hitting like 200.
I was going to say, he's 33 years old. He's hitting 202. He has 30 strikeouts and 108 plate appearances. So that's why they got rid of him. He happens to, I believe he has a 3 home run game and a 4 home run game this year.
But he's just so much fun. Like,
He's so much
that's what
fun.
we miss.
Good vibes only. It was
Yeah.
one of the best things
He's
that ever
so
happened.
much fun. Yeah.
Okay, real quick, 3 Huskies for you because I know you love Husky football. I did this for you.
I
Peyton
love it.
Henry, number
kicker.
47.
Kicker.
He was a great kicker, right? Wasn't he a good
Yeah.
kicker?
By the way, they got a kicker and a punter in the portal this week.
They sure did. Not Dusty
Continue.
Zimmer though. R.I.P. Wait, he's not dead. Okay.
God.
Pat Conniff, fullback. He was awesome.
Yeah,
You don't know
that's
Pat
in the
Conniff? It's
90s.
before you. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's in the
early
90s.
90s.
Yeah.
And then Jamal Fontaine. He's also early 90s.
Yeah.
3 Rose Bowls, linebacker. All wore number 47. Pat Conniff was a little later, I think, actually. He played for the Saints. Like, he was an NFL fullback. All right, there you go. Episode 47. The listeners can pick which one they would like to
The
follow. It's
Peyton
like choose your own
Henry.
adventure,
Yeah, the Peyton Henry episode. We'll go there.
Okay. Great.
Um,
All right, so here's what we're going to do today. Today is an ometer or o-meter or however you want to say it episode. So sometimes you'll get on podcasts, they'll do this for fun. This is a variation of things I've heard before or on like ESPN shows or something. And they usually do like a worryometer. Like, what are you worried about?
yeah.
And we might have a little worry in this episode. But we're going to roll with some different categories. I'm going to ask you and then I'll respond as well. So we're going to start with your first place Seattle Mariners, 16-12. Just won their 6th straight series including their fourth straight in which they lost the first game and then won the next two, which is weird and wild. They have no pitchers, which we'll talk about in a second, but they sure can hit. But the person I'd like to talk about first is Ben Williamson, third baseman, rookie. Okay. So what is your confidence meter? 0 to 10. 0, I have zero confidence. 10 is like, top of the mountain.
Yeah.
10 would be, pretty high.
Yeah.
And he'll be the third baseman for the next 5 years for the Seattle Mariners.
I'm probably at like a 5. This is like so early,
Yeah.
right? And this always happens with prospects where they have good starts. And then when another pitcher sees them, or when he has enough plate appearances and at bats, he's going to go through a slump, right? Now, I think it's a little like the prime example of we just went through this was Jared Kelenic, right? So Jared Kelenic, he'd have flashes of goodness, but then he just turned into like a 220 hitter in his time in Seattle, right? And he continues to be that. And you don't know when that transition happens. So it's just so early. I'm just at a 5. Now, he's better than I remember when I had no idea who he was. And I just kind of said, he's going to get set down. Right.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. He's playing.
I forget. Was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. He's playing way above his expectations, whatever they were.
Yeah.
And
we said the headline would be in 2 weeks that he'd be sent down. And
instead, we're worried because he was
I didn't even think about this when I let off with this, Kev, that the headline is, should he be the third baseman for the next 5 years, which is probably, I agree, 5 might even be high. But
I mean, he's pretty,
can I talk?
Yeah.
Can I talk about the things I like?
Yeah.
So obviously he's hitting 310 and he has like a 780 something OPS.
Yep.
His strikeout rate's only 17%, which is obviously low for Major League Baseball right now. And I'll talk about that in a second. Well, I'll talk about it now. So he has no power. Like, he hit 4 home runs all last year in the minors. And these are minor league ballparks where guys hit bombs sometimes, right? He had 12 at William and Mary in 2023. That's the highest he's had since he started college, because Baseball Reference will show you that. And that's the thing, is it like, does he have any power? And can you play third base in the major leagues with no power? Here's my counter to that, and it goes with the fact that he has a low strikeout percentage. He's hitting 310. The guy just wants to put the barrel on the ball and see what happens. He's not trying to hit for power, whereas it seems like we've talked ad nauseum about the Mariners swinging for the fences, including Jared Kelenic, and just
missing,
whether it's for a contract or whatever, and just striking out all the time. So I'm kind of intrigued more than I was. I had heard he's like not a power guy and he has decent bat skills, but he really just tries to hit line drives. And the thing that's so fun about him is his defense. If you're not watching Mariner games or watching 7 to 9 innings every night like I am, you might miss it. He has made some plays on that road trip that we have not. I mean, Suarez was good.
Seager was good.
Seager was good. Yeah. Williamson looks so natural there.
Yeah.
He's so fluid at his size. And when you're watching like Polanco to start the year, and you're watching a little Dylan Moore and Mastroboni and these guys like skip balls from there, he just throws a perfect ball to first. I mean, he's really good in the field, which I think they should just keep him in the lineup. But if he's hitting line drives, maybe he stays in anyway. He should probably be like the 8 or 9 hitter because of his lack of power. But
By the way, his full name is Benjamin Andrew Williamson. Doesn't that sound like a president from like in the first 15?
Well, you're probably thinking of Benjamin Harrison, who has the shortest stint of any president in United States history, 1 month.
And there's a lot of Andrews and a lot of Williams. So I bet you if you ask.
And he went to William and Mary. So like, this guy's living old colonial life somehow. I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, I should start a Twitter account. It could be like the Captain Andrew Luck one.
Oh, I'm so happy it's back. If people don't know, it's Captain Andrew Luck on X. Just go. It's great. If you like the Civil War and you like parodies, it's for you.
It's great, yeah.
Let's add Ben Williamson to our guest list.
Yeah.
I think the Mariners will give us somebody. I don't know if they will, but he might be somebody we could get. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, that's the first one. Now let's go to maybe we're a little worried. What's your worryometer? 0 to 10. We'll start with the new injury, Logan Gilbert, who
Ah,
left in the third or fourth inning 2 nights ago now, and it was put on the 15-day IL. They say he'll resume throwing in 2 weeks. He does not need Tommy John as of now, although I saw on Twitter someone said this is exactly what Robbie Ray had before he got Tommy John. Is he just shut him down for 2 weeks. But Logan seemed in good spirits about it, like he's not concerned. I don't know what that means. What's your concern? 0 to 10.
like out of 7 because he hasn't been injured yet.
Yeah.
He hasn't had like a major injury yet, and he's young. And once these injuries, it just seems like once injuries start, they don't stop.
Especially with like forearm tightness and elbows and stuff. Like
I don't know what that would feel like, honestly. Like
somebody
sometimes
said, who was it? I think Wu had this last year
okay.
and he came back and he's been fine. He never had surgery or whatever. He went on the injured list. So that helped me feel better because I was texting with my buddy Lewis and he's like, what do you think's going on? I'm like, well, it's 95% Tommy John surgery. I feel like it's always Tommy John when they say leaves with a tight forearm or
Yeah.
forearm soreness or whatever. But the Wu injury and the way they treated it last year and took him out as a precaution, I'm going to go 8. Yeah, I'm right where you are. But Logan's so good, and with Kirby out and Castillo maybe not being as good as he used to be, the bullpen's not amazing. It's fine. Yeah, I'm at 8 for that one. All right.
Yeah.
What do you think about George Kirby? Where are you? Should I give you context for why I'm
Yeah, I
asking?
don't know the latest
Okay.
update. Did they
So he's
extend it?
throwing. Yeah, the latest update is he still has not. I mean, he's been throwing in Arizona, but not faced live hitters. It was spring training when they shut him down, right? So
Yeah.
there was talk at one point, like early May, late April, he'd be back. Clearly, that's not going to happen. He is throwing live batting practice to hitters tomorrow at T-Mobile. They have an off day, which is good news. And it's the first time he's facing hitters. I'm assuming if that goes well, I feel like typically he would do another one. Although I'm trying to think, since they go on the road, they might have him go on a rehab outing if that goes well. But he's going to need to build up, right? 3 rehab outings probably. So,
I'm not worried at all. I'm just
oh,
happy he's coming back.
well,
Um,
that's why I'm like a 5 because it's taken longer than they originally thought. I mean, it's good that he's throwing tomorrow, but the fact that he didn't, they didn't just shut him down for 10 days and be like, oh, he's good, and maybe they're being extra cautious, which is smart. Right? He only has to pitch 150 innings in the regular
Yeah.
season.
Here's the best
Um,
part about the Mariners rotation. And I think I said this at the start of before the season. Like, there are going to be injuries, whether we like it or not. And there
Yeah.
was when Kirby went down, right? Here's the thing Brian Wu and Bryce Miller on maybe 15 of, I'm just
Yeah.
shooting it right now, but like maybe on 15 major league teams would be the 1 or 2 starter,
Mm.
right? And so it'll be great when Kirby comes back. Obviously, we have no idea when Gilbert and if he'll come back this
Right.
season. It sounds like he's not out for the season,
Right.
but who knows? It's way too early to tell.
I feel a lot better about either one of them if one of them comes back. Right? So if Kirby comes back, Logan's the best pitcher we have. So any hopes of a postseason anything, I think you need Logan, even though you have other guys. It was cool to see Logan Evans get his major league debut today and was decent. 5 innings, 2 runs. That's good. And Hancock has been really good 2 starts in a row. I mean, in Boston, Kev, Hancock was filthy.
Yeah.
And he was bad his first start of the year. So do they really have 7 deep? Probably not, but maybe they can withstand it with the way the offense is going. So let me transition to my last Mariner point for you. Are they good, O-meter? I'm gonna say your Seattle Mariners offense, not just your Seattle Mariners.
Yeah. Uh,
Where do you put them? 0 to 10. Like, is this a good offense?
I think I'm at a 7.
Okay. Yeah.
Jorge Polanco is really good. You asked me to do homework, and I
Yeah. Let's
did.
talk about Jorge.
Okay, let me just give you his stats right now through
Yep.
20 games. So he's not a qualified. He's not qualified, which is
Yep.
basically the minimum amount you need to be on the leaderboards because he was injured for a bit. He has in 20 games, he has 7 home runs,
Mhm.
20 RBIs, and he's slashing 377 average, which is a career high by far.
Yeah. I would guess so.
405 on base percentage. It's 739 slugging, which is right behind Aaron Judge, and a 1,144 OPS. He is incredible right now. And I did some like sleuthing.
Yeah.
His approach has changed. He's been way more aggressive
Hmm.
this time around. And it's his like he's making more contact
Yeah.
with his
Well,
aggression.
his strikeout rate is absurdly low.
Yeah, and what's funny is it has been rising. So this thing that I was reading from 2020 to 2024, it was rising. So it went from 15.5 to 18.3 to 21.3 to 25.7 and then all
Yeah, it
the
was
way to
bad last year.
29.2 last year.
Oh God, it was even worse. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he's
That's
only
Mitch Garver territory.
yeah, it's completely different this year. And I should tell you the K rate this year. I don't
No,
have
he's
it
like at
written.
12% or
Yeah,
something like
so
that.
it's way it's yeah.
it's absurd. Yeah. He had three hits today. Like,
He's not gonna keep it up,
well,
but
yeah. Yeah.
I think he won't regress all the way down to what he was last year. So that's encouraging.
If he's a 280 hitter, assuming Julio picks it up,
Yeah.
I want to make a public apology right now to Mitch Garver, who I basically cut from the team last week.
Yeah.
And Mitch Garver has had, I think he hit 2 bombs this week. He had it, or he hit a bomb yesterday. He had a huge 2 RBI double off Garrett Crochet in Boston. Garver is picking it up, and I apologize to Mitch Garver. So if he's listening, which he probably is, because we look so similar, you know. Polanco's WRC plus wins created, right? The metric that Fangraphs does that basically says like how many runs do you create? So your steals and your average and your RBIs and your home runs. So an excellent player is a 160 WRC plus, right?
Yeah.
This is like Hall of Fame territory.
Yeah.
His this year is 217. It's out of this world how good Jorge Polanco is. But let me add to that, Kev. You gave it a 7, I think, which I'm with you because it's only a month. Remember when they were bad? I said I'm waiting till May 1st to see where they're at. We're almost at May 1st. They're in first place. They're 4 games above 500. They're a 5-game losing streak away from being under. You know, it's not like they're out of this world.
Infallible. Yeah.
Right. But the narrative that people have who don't watch baseball every day that the offense is still bad needs to go. Because coming into today, they're the number 1 team in baseball in walk rate. They walk more than anyone in baseball. They are 11th in K rate, which they were last in the league. That's huge. They're 6th in on-base percentage, 4th in WOBA, 3rd in WRC plus. These are just advanced metrics of like how good you are. 2nd in barrel percentage, so they're barreling up the ball. They are 5th in hard hit percentage, so they're not getting bloopers that just fall in and getting runs, right? Meanwhile, they're 19th in BABIP, so batting average balls in play, which means they're actually having bad luck in their scoring. I think they're like 4th in runs now, too, in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Like it's real right now, right? They're on a long enough track now of 2.5, 3 weeks. They have a 12-4 record over 16 games. It's the best record in baseball over the last 16 games. Right? Will that last? I mean, Polanco's not going to last. Leo Rivas is not going to hit like he's hitting. JP is absolutely on fire. But
Also, did you see that play he made yesterday? Or
oh
was it
my
2
god.
days ago?
Oh my god. I
That's
sent it to
awesome.
my wife and her response was just, I love JP.
Yeah, it was such a great play.
So I mean, I don't
It's
know.
kind of refreshing to see scores like 7-6 today.
I was just thinking that, Kev. I'm like, the Trent Thornton is blowing it. They're not a great pitching staff right now, but they're winning like 7-6.
They scored 2
8-4.
touchdowns last night.
Yeah, last night was crazy. Like it is refreshing. Yeah.
Could you imagine going to see 2 touchdowns and then getting a Moose shoulder plush giveaway? God.
What a night. What a night. Garver hit one off of I will backtrack a little. He hit it off of a position player. So they didn't give him the trident, which I think is the right move. If you hit a homer off the position player, you don't get to celebrate with the trident.
That's kind of pathetic.
It's funny. Like
kind of
it's
sad for him.
Oh, it's kind of sad for Garver, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're Seattle Mariners. We're excited. Let's go to the other I would say it's probably big news for Seattle
Yeah.
fans, right? The Seahawks draft. There's a lot that happened in the draft. I don't know that we're going to cover Shedeur Sanders in this.
Oh, I have a great question for you.
All right, let's start with Shedeur Sanders, then we'll go to the Seahawks. Go. Go.
I mean, sorry, I have to Mel Kiper you into this.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'll be Reese Davis.
When the Seahawks were coming up on that 3rd rounder, in your head were you like, yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Let's pick him.
Yeah, for sure. I thought they might.
I think they would have if it was Pete Carroll. If Pete Carroll was
Well, that's what was surprising
Yeah.
about the Raiders not doing it. It was like with
Yeah.
Geno there and Pete Carroll. I mean, even though nobody knows what happened, right?
yeah,
Is it collusion? I got buddies who think it's collusion. There's no way it's not.
I'm not taking that.
He clearly bombed some interviews. It sounds like that's what's coming out. And
Yeah.
I don't know that Dion helps him, but to your point, if there's a guy who's going to be able to handle Dion and all that comes with the Sanders family, it's Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
He had Sherm, Earl Thomas, who just did a weird interview with King 5 in a hotel room.
I was
I don't
wondering
know.
why couldn't they not be in the hotel room?
And why is Earl in basketball shorts and an undershirt? Like, what's happening right now? I couldn't even watch it. I think it's like, anyway. So he had Earl, Sherm, Marshawn, he had Russ, right? Pete Carroll had it all. I don't know that Mike McDonald wants drama.
No.
You're going to have some, but he's like, okay, Gino maybe doesn't want to play here. Bye,
Bye.
Gino. DK, you're a lot. Bye, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then he just drafts these dudes. Oh, John Schneider obviously drafting Mike McDonald has influence, who are just different. It seems different. So, what is your awesome? What is my draft results meter?
Yeah.
What 0 to, we'll go 0 to 10, and then I'll.
It was almost like so conventional.
Yeah.
I want to say 7 again. I just
Hmm.
like that number. I'd say 8 if they like overperformed. I'm a tough grader. But
Yeah,
they
you're probably
filled-
a little low because let me give you some grades. So Pro
Yeah.
Football Focus gave him an A, Fox gave him an A, Ringer gave him an A, ESPN A, NFL.com A minus, CBS B, which was interesting. Pete Prisco of CBS. But the reason they got good grades does go to your point because it was chalky.
so
Right.
conventional. Yeah.
It's what everybody thought they should do. Everyone is, I mean, I did the little short preview, and Gray Zabel was the most projected player at number 18, and they took Gray Zabel.
Could you imagine accepting a job and then publicly announcing after the first thing you're going to do to celebrate is to pound multiple bush lights?
Hell
man.
yeah! I had a couple quotes written down for you. That was one
Home and
of them.
water. Yeah.
You hit it. John Schneider's response was like, "We're gonna have to work on that beer choice, buddy." But Gray Zabel has his own cornfield, and farms for fun and plays Settlers of Catan and drinks Bush Light. And he said 12 hours to celebrate, and then you get to work.
By the way,
His stash is incredible.
Settlers of Catan is not a Bush Light drinking type of game, but
Yeah, it's more a little bit more intellectual, right? No offense to Bush Light drinkers, sorry.
yeah, yeah.
I'd probably go higher than you because, I mean, I sat here last week and I told you that there are 5 guys I have who I hope are available that I would not cringe if they took in the first round, right?
Yeah.
Will Johnson was available in the second round, but they went up and got one of the other guys, Nick Emanwari, the safety from South Carolina. So one of the 5 guys I talked about last week, they went and got in the second round. And then they got Jalen Milroe from Alabama, who I liked but didn't know like how fast and freakishly athletic he was. And his quote when they said, "What do you have to say to all the people who were drafted above you?" He said, "Belt to ass." And then the Seahawks tweeted it out. I was like, can we do this? Like, Kevin and I have a podcast of 12 listeners. We can say it. But I don't know if you can.
Hey, we have more than 12 listeners, all right?
Supposed to go with it, Kev. So for me, yeah, I'm more like 8 or 9 because they address things. And then you throw in, I'm going to give you one more, 7th round running back, Damian Martinez from Miami, who used to be at Oregon State. Do you remember him at Oregon State?
He destroyed us.
Destroyed the Huskies, right? I don't have the numbers in front of me. This is just my memory of him. So maybe he didn't, but my memory was he kicked the Huskies' ass.
You know who else was floating on in the later rounds? It's like Kyle Munungai, who's also
yeah.
And then the dude from
we talked a lot about Munungai in this podcast.
Not the dude from Indiana, the dude from Iowa, Caleb Johnson was floating at the end.
Oh, yeah.
God, these guys are beasts.
Damian Martinez said, "You got another Beast Mode 2.0 coming up there. Get ready to see it."
I love it.
What a quote from a 7th round running back, right?
You know what's funny is these guys
Kenny
are
McIntosh be scared? Like
these guys are getting drafted to the Seahawks, and they're like, "Yeah, I grew up watching the Legion of Boom."
Yeah, that's what Eamon said. He was like, Legion of Boom 2.0. Cam Chancellor was my favorite player. I'm like, didn't Cam Chancellor stop playing a year ago? What happened?
We're just old. We're old.
I'm really old, Kev. Okay. Staying with the Seahawks and Jalen Milroe. What's your 0 to 10 QB of the future?
I like his upside. I really do. I think he might have a higher ceiling than Russell Wilson.
No. Stop. First give me a number. Do you think he's the QB of the future? If you think it's maybe possible, you give it a 5. If you think he's 100% the quarterback in 3 years,
6.5.
Okay. So you're not that strong on him, even though you just told me he has more upside than Russell Wilson, the greatest quarterback in Seahawks history.
Okay, here's the thing about Wilson. When he was drafted, he didn't have much upside, but he just maxed out his potential, right? Like, I feel like Milroe, skill set wise, although maybe I'm just forgetting.
You were on this previous
Prime Russ.
version of this podcast telling me he was going to start over Matt Flynn.
Wait.
By the way, this is not a Matt Flynn situation. Sam Bradford's going to start.
I'm forgetting how fast Russell Wilson was and how good he was out of the pocket. So
he wasn't as fast as Jalen Milroe, though.
I take it all back. I don't know what I was saying when I was saying.
So now you're higher than 6.5 or what? Or no, you're saying you're higher on Russ, your memory of Russ. Got it.
I was higher on Russ, so maybe I'm sticking to 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I think that's a good number. Yeah. 5-6. Like, I don't know.
There's a reason why he didn't go in the first round, right? Like,
yeah, they say he's their number 1 quarterback on the board. There's 2 parts to that. One, I mean, they drafted him. What are they going to say? Number 2, even though Cam Ward I really like Cam Ward, it's not a great quarterback draft class, right? Yeah. Although we don't know. Maybe it'll play out that way. But especially with Shedeur falling, Jackson Dart, that Tyler guy who's like 29 years old, who's going to New Orleans, however old that guy is.
Yeah.
Maybe Milroe is the best quarterback. So, if he's the best at a bad class, that means he's an average quarterback.
Shout out to the Atlanta Falcons, some said they made a puzzling move last year.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
They did say this. They knew that the class wasn't going to be good this year, and they needed someone younger than Kirk Cousins.
And they think people think next year's quarterback class will be good again. And so there was speculation the Browns were making smart moves by waiting, and then they drafted two quarterbacks. They drafted Gabriel from Oregon and Shedeur Sanders. So the Browns continue to brown.
That
So
sounds like a nightmare.
yeah, shout out to Jim Poland, loyal listener, Cleveland Browns fan.
Confidence meter on the offensive line, Brian.
Yeah, where are we now?
Adding Gray Zabel.
So he's going to be left guard. They said already. Slot him in at left guard. I mean, he's going to have to fight for it, right? But you got him at left guard. And then your center and your right guard are real question marks. There's weird stuff with Charles Cross at left tackle too. I'm delaying answering the question. So last year I would have been a 1. Like they were really bad. I mean, I did all those recaps where I'd look at the Pro Football Focus grades and they just I mean, how many times did I write about Laken Tomlinson and Anthony Bradford at guard? Just so bad. Abe Lucas's injuries. I'm at a Zabel really got me excited. I'm up to a 6.
Ooh, you passed the 5 mark.
I did because I thought
Yeah.
5's not fair. 5's average, and they have 3 theoretically competent starters. And I think they can then focus on developing a right guard. Like there's theory that Christian Haynes fits Kubiak's system better. Maybe he's a rookie last year. I don't know if I buy all that, but if you're not covering for both guards, that's easier. The Charles Cross thing is interesting. Have you seen this? That the media keeps asking John Schneider about his 5th year extent. So there's a 5th year option for rookies,
Yeah.
and he won't answer the question.
It's weird.
He's like, I'm not answering it right now. And the deadline is the end of this week, like Friday, I think.
I wonder if they're negotiating. Well, I mean, they have to be negotiating.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is maybe they're negotiating a long term deal. That's my hope. He's good enough to keep. I mean, if we don't have him, we're really screwed, right? So they don't have another plan at left tackle. There's nobody. So
Yeah.
where are you on the offensive line? Are you with me at a 6? You lower?
With how it performed and like, I don't know how good a first year offensive left tackle will be. I mean, left guard. I'm probably like at a 5. I'm just,
Yeah.
you can only go up from last year, right?
From
The
a
other
1
thing-
or a 0? Yeah.
The other thing I'm thinking about is like in terms of pass protection, whether that's going to be as important with the offense not being run under grub, where you're under shotgun and running for your life all the time. Like maybe that won't be the case this year.
Yeah, if you
but-
can run the ball, I mean, that's part of offensive line play too, right? But
yeah,
they can run the ball just by scheme too. It helps everything. I mean,
Yeah.
it did feel like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're worse at running the ball or passing the ball last year. It's which is weird because they had decent offensive numbers. They just had such a bad line. We'll find out how much of that was Geno and how much of it wasn't. All right, so we like the Seahawks draft overall. Feel good.
yep.
great. Let's talk
Let's-
about the Seattle Reign.
They played my team. They played BAFC last night.
You're a season ticket holder, are you not?
No, we gave them up for the
Oh, you did.
for the whatchamacallit. The
You didn't give 'em up.
Valkyries.
I was gonna say you gave him up for the Santa Clara Broncos, Kev. It's amazing.
I know, man. I'm kind of pissed they let Tilly go to the portal and sign with. Who did he sign with again?
Tilly signed with like Ohio State. It's insane. This guy like barely played on. Well, I mean, he didn't barely play, but yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about Santa Clara basketball later. I have a little surprise for you. You know Randy Wynn, former Mariner, went to Santa Clara,
No. I did know
and
Gavin
he played
Newsom
basketball
went.
and basketball and baseball.
Oh, he's
at
a
Santa
two-sport
Clara
athlete?
in college. He played with Steve Nash in the backcourt. How about that?
No way.
Wait, that
That
can't be
is-
true. No, it is true. I think maybe it's
That's
not true. I might have
crazy.
made that part up. I'll look that up later. Okay,
That's
so
crazy.
we're gonna talk about the Seattle Reign. The Reign are right in the mix. They're like 7th in the NWSL. They were basically dead last or second to last year. They're playing young players. You watched the match this week, which is a big accomplishment for our podcast.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about three players in the awesome ometer.
Yeah.
First, let's go with Lynn Biandolo.
Always throws me off, but yeah.
Yeah, formerly Lynn Williams. Hasn't played a ton, but she's the most recognized name on the roster. And where do you have her on the awesome meter right now for the Seattle Reign?
I
0 to
mean,
10.
she's not like it's kind of the name recognition is in there, but she didn't pop as like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
She can't be a 10 right now, right? Based on
Yeah.
where she's at. Yeah.
God, I need to get off of the 7, but like maybe I'll say like a 6. Like she's
I'm gonna go
good.
8. I'm gonna go 8.
Okay, okay.
Um, they look different when she plays to me. The times I've been able to watch. Which makes sense. I mean, she's a first class striker, right?
Hmm.
There are some cool advanced metrics. So I did a little research, not to just throw things around all the time. She basically her like plus minus, right? If you think about basketball, it's an off on stat is plus 1.41, which is really the highest on the team. It's good, right? So they're
Is it
plus as in goals.
points?
I
Goals,
think it's
yeah.
goals. Yeah, I think it's goals. Um, or it might be points, but basically if you look up like the rain on it's like football reference, they have this stat and she's the highest on the team. So her impact on the game shows up, right?
Yeah.
Um, she's also creating 3.38 shot creating actions per 90 minutes, which is third on the team behind G and Mondesir, which I thought was kind of interesting. G's advanced stats are really, really good, and she doesn't play all the time, but that's interesting as well. So, and then name recognition, she should have finished a goal one of the games I was at. She just missed it, right past the post on the ground. I think if she can be healthy, it's going to really take this team off because they're running a formation now that is pretty fascinating. So at least 2 games ago, I don't know what they did yesterday, Kev, but Lynn Williams was up top, and then they had Heidema in the starting lineup, who used to be their up top option. But they also had Mondesir, and then they had the woman, I can't ever say her name, but my wife can, Anna Maria Sirkonovic, something like that. They're all like forwards. They basically started 4 forwards. They just put them in like wing spots. So super attacking, which I think is fun. They're not scoring a ton of goals for the amount of forwards they're playing, but it's an interesting look.
Can you say the name next person? Because I'm really excited about her.
Jordan Heidema?
No, but Mesa.
Oh, Sam Meza. You want to talk about
Yeah.
Sam Meza? Yeah.
I'm like at maybe like an 8.
Yes.
She
Sam
served
Meza
up
is so
a
good.
nice ball to, how do you pronounce
Heidema. Heidema scored
Heidema?
the goal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Julio's, I think, former girlfriend.
X.
I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
So I'm doing a little background on Mesa.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because they drafted her last year and then they loaned her out to
Yep.
Dallas, like a USL, so not kind of the league below, in August. And so she ended up playing in Dallas, for the rest of that 2024 season. Comes back, plays for the Reign this year. She's young, right?
Right.
And I'm reading an article from this one was written in on Sounders at Heart in February, and there's quotes from her just saying like, I kind of just want to get more playing time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, she's like playing, and she's playing well, and
Yeah.
she's young, and it's exciting. So
I think I said this on the podcast before, and I don't want to reveal any private conversations, but one of my NWSL sources, I have
it.
many. It's the one sport I have some sources.
yeah,
Was surprised that she was loaned out and not playing last year because of how good she was in college and how good she was compared to other people who were playing in the league. And I think Mesa went to North Carolina and she was like really, really good. It's showing up this year. She, Kev, is completing 84.7% of her passes, which is second best on the team. And she leads the team with 25 tackles. That's what I noticed. I mean, you talked about serving a ball up, but she's little and she just takes people on and is like, give me that ball.
yeah.
Her tackles, 25, are tied for first in the entire league.
Damn,
and she's
I
what,
didn't know
20,
that. I kind of
22
want
years
to
old,
bump
something
up
like
to
that.
a 9, but let's keep her at an 8. Keep her
Yeah.
humble.
And well, let's get her on the pod. She's top of the list for me right now.
All
Ben
right.
Williamson, Sam Mason. Okay, let's do Jordan Heidema.
Heidema.
So
She's got to be like,
yeah, how do you feel this year compared to like other years? How she's
well,
playing?
she
now?
was injured last year for a good portion, right? Like how?
She was, and then they had the Olympics, right? Was that last year? Yeah,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
left with Canada, and she struggled last year. And 2 years ago, she really popped. She was good. But
yeah.
they had Rapino, right? Last year they didn't, and it really looked like she was struggling to find her way as the lone target up top.
Hmm.
And now that she's not, and she's among more talent, she's starting to look a lot better to me. So I'm kind
Yeah.
of I'm at a 7 right now.
Yeah, I'm
Awesome.
at a 7 too. I mean, it's early in the season. She's
Yeah.
on, you're only 4 matches. Have she has a goal?
Can I give you one stat that I think is good?
Yeah.
So she's tall. I don't know if people know, but Jordan Heideman's like tallest player on the field every time she plays, pretty much, right? And she hasn't in the past always been like a target actually for headers. And she scored that goal against Bay FC on a nice header, right? On a
Hmm.
cross, right? She's 17 out of 23 on aerial duels. What a cool stat. Aerial duels. Let's go.
So when you're trying to beat someone else for
Yeah.
a header,
So she's lost 6 and she's won 17. Last year she was 54% on those on the year. So she's way
it's
higher.
impressive.
Yeah. So that to me was really encouraging for someone who looked like they were kind of trying to play at their feet more, and it was the only person up top. And now she's blending in with the group in a good way, not blending in a bad way.
Yeah.
So I like 7 for her. I think she has a pretty high upside. Like if she ever reaches her, like Ben Williamson doesn't. No offense, Ben. God, we did it again to you, Ben. I'm sorry, but come on the podcast. Ben Williamson has a nice upside of like, maybe his is like I'm a Gold Glove Dylan
Yeah.
Moore type dude, right?
Yeah.
Heidema's like the star of Canada's national
She's
team.
only
upside.
23.
Yeah, that's what I
She's
mean.
young
Her
too,
upside is
so,
really, really, really high.
all of a sudden we're like really optimistic about the rain, which is great.
They're playing such better soccer than last year. It's really fun. They have a tough one against the Current, who is a really, really, really good team. So that'll be a tough one on Friday night at Lumen. I would just say people should go. Like tickets are affordable. You sit really close. It's a great atmosphere. I think Friday's supposed to be nice weather, nice-ish, and there's
Are
no
you going?
lines. I'm going to be in Yakima for 5th grade basketball. But we do have tickets. We do have tickets. You know what we should do? Dan and I are always trying to give away tickets. I think she already gave them away, but sometimes we can't go, and we should give them away to like a listener or something.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, but not this time. Sorry.
By the way, we gave StubHub gift cards to the winners of the bracket challenge.
Oh, nice.
I saw Woody 2 weekends ago, and I was like, dude, you didn't know? Like, check your text messages. And he was like totally shocked. He had no idea.
He won?
He won the women's. No. He won the men, and Justin won the women's.
Nice.
So good stuff.
I did not win either. It looks like.
Yeah,
Okay,
me
great.
neither.
Real quick ones for you before we go to top 5.
Yeah.
What's your excited meter 0 to 10 for the Husky spring game, which I think is Friday?
Dogs After Dark.
Yeah.
I'm pumped if they're gonna televise it. I'm like
Are they?
at an 8. Yeah.
They're televising it? What
Yogi
do you,
Roth is Yogi
on
Roth
Big Ten Network?
Probably on the Big Ten Network.
Yeah. You're 10, they said?
I'm probably at an 11. I'm just so excited to
I
see
knew it.
Husky football again. There's functioning offensive line. Who are the honorary coaches? It's like Donald Butler and
Shoot. Yeah, Donald Butler, and I can't remember the other one now.
it's like be a receiver or something.
Yeah.
No one like awesome, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it something. So
Your 11 score was awesome because at my dad's funeral service this weekend, there was a lot of my sister's friends were there. There's some loyal listeners, so shout out to them.
yeah.
But Caitlin's friend Carolyn, who doesn't listen because she went to Stanford, and she's like, too much. I think she went to Stanford.
Yeah.
She's like, too much dog talk.
This is why I have
So,
the chapters. You can skip. You
yeah,
can skip around.
we'll see. We'll see if she tunes into this one. Okay, my second one, real quick. Excitometer, Kev. Mariners 2-game series with the Angels based on how they're playing. How you feeling? Like, does
Uh,
that make you excited, or are you just kind of a 5 because it's
I'm
two
like,
game series? Or
I'm like at a 5 if I'm being honest. It's more the results after. Like, I just don't get juiced unless there's something like, oh, they're on like an 8-game win streak and they can't lose, or
too long of a season for you to get juiced?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I've been trying to
That
stay pretty mellow with the results, but I'll tell you what, they're not playing tomorrow, and when they play well like this,
you want to
that
watch.
I'm like bummed that they don't have a
Yeah,
game tomorrow.
yeah.
And so I'm gonna try and so Tuesday, like I'm kind of at an 8, but I'm always ready for an M's
You're
game.
ready
Like
for the
you know,
Mariners.
even when they're bad, I might be a 3. I'm still watching. All right, last one for you. Santa Clara's basketball transfers, Kev. Where are you? They have a
Dude,
transfer just signed from Villanova,
nice.
Michigan State, and Iowa. 3 transfers coming in. Now, none of these guys played a lot, which is why they're transferring. But they're 2 of them are former top 100 recruits
Yeah.
as a season ticket holder. And just because I had people giving me crap this weekend about how I always talk about Santa Clara on the podcast, where are you? Huh? Huh?
Yeah.
0 to 10.
I mean, Herb Sendek has some success. One of them is playing in the NBA playoffs with opposite of
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like he's
Yep.
done it before.
Yeah, you
So
know what? My rant's coming next. That's great. Can we please go to the NCAA tournament one time? I went to college in 1997, Kevin. They had
yeah.
not gone.
Well, here's what we need to do is we need to start charging a subscription fee for this. And then I will take those funds and pour it into the Santa Clara NIL collective. And then we'll go buy a player. Like we could have got Tyler Harris. We'll just go buy Tyler Harris,
I don't
right?
want, sorry, Tyler Harris.
You want
After
someone
watching
big.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, I want like a Kentucky dude.
I kind of want to leave my job. I'm joking right now.
Yeah, please don't.
And
Please.
become a GM for Santa Clara, like kind of like Woj, and just try to
Woj, not
Woj.
Waj.
Yeah, I want sorry. I want to
It's
try
okay.
to land European dudes and just travel to Germany and uh get guys for Santa Clara.
I love it.
Yeah,
I am currently looking at the NIL information.
for Santa Clara.
By the way, Christopher Tilley was getting money from that. Uh, the Mission NIL, it looks like
Yeah.
$8.99 per month. Ooh, that really actually. Hmm.
They send you like autographed postcards. It's not that bad.
Interesting.
I haven't done it,
Oh,
but
there's 2. Wow, here are the athletes they support. This is fascinating. There's 2 athletes that they support through this. One is Adama Alpha Ball, the best player on the men's basketball team, and the other is Olivia Pollard on the women's basketball team, who used to go to UW and transferred to Santa Clara and is a 1,000-point scorer. Anyway, I've now turned off everyone on the podcast because I got in deep diving on Santa Clara's lack of NIL money.
yeah, it's up to us.
Wait, but what's your number? What'd you say? 0 to 10
Oh, excited
with
me to Santa
with
Clara
the
basketball.
transfers.
I'm maybe at like a 6 now.
All right,
I'm more excited about UW Sam.
Yeah, I'm a 3.
Transfers.
I don't believe
Yeah.
it's gonna work. Okay, top 5.
Yeah, I'm ready. Do you want to go first? First to me, or
I'll go
me to
first.
you?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, so I talked about WRC plus earlier, right? And the idea is that it's weighted runs created. It's park and league adjusted. So it's adjusted what park you play and all these type of things, right? And I told you Polanco's got a 217 this year. So they tell you on fan graphs that a 160 is an excellent player, 140 is great, 100 is average. Julio's at 103 this year, which I'm like, I don't, is he really average right now? But maybe the power and the speed. Garver's 114, Rayleigh 116, JP 130, Randy 135, Williamson 136, Cal 158, Moore 165, Leo Rivas 28 at bats, 171, and Polanco 217. So they have all these guys crushing it, right?
Yeah.
Don't know if it's sustainable. Here's the top 5 for you. And I went through every single season on Fangraphs in
That's
Mariners
amazing.
history to create this. There are one, two. Wait, hold on.
Top
One, two,
five
three, four, five,
seasons
six, seven. There are 8 players because there's tied. So it's a top 5, but there's 8. So you have more choices.
in their careers.
Who have no in a single season for the Mariners have had a 150 WRC plus season or better. 160 being excellent, right?
Yeah, I can do
So
this.
150 or better.
Yeah.
You have to name 5 players.
Yeah.
Ready? Go.
1995 Edgar
No, you don't.
Martinez.
Oh, that's amazing. You did that. You don't even have to do that. You just tell me the player.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. You just named the best season in Mariners history by this stat.
Yeah.
Edgar Martinez had a 182 for the season
Yeah.
in 1995. So WRC plus, just for perspective, part of the reason they like Polanco is because he's not striking out, right?
Yeah.
So the power is great, but your walk and strikeout ratios, which is why Edgar is on here 6 times at 150 or higher. So he had 6 seasons 150 or higher.
So the 95 season was his
crazy.
best.
95 is his best at 182.
All right. 1996 A-Rod.
Okay, do you want to just say A-Rod and then you can guess the year for bonus points?
Okay, A-Rod.
Okay, A-Rod is correct.
Yes.
1996, he was on there twice. A-Rod's 1996 season is one of them. Edgar had a better one that year, but A-Rod was 159. Edgar was 163. Griffey was 146. So those are all 3, quote, great players by the stat, all in the lineup together. And let me tell you, Kev, if you go 2005 through 2015, nobody near the 140s
Yeah.
in Mariner history. That might not be true, so I don't want to give anything away.
2004 Ichiro.
Ichiro's never had a season with a WRC plus of 150 or higher.
That's
Even his 2001 season where he won the MVP, Edgar was 157. There was somebody else who was high that year. You could probably guess.
Yeah,
It
Brett
wasn't.
Boone.
It was very close. 149. Ichiro's on the 120s, which is like above average. So the stat may not be the end all be all, but it's interesting.
So Ken Griffey Jr.
Yep. So Griffey did it 3 times.
97.
97. He was
98.
154, not 98. I think I told you one of them. 94, he was a 164, and 93, he was a 164.
This is so cool.
94 is the strike season too.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got 3. Those are the right? Those are 3
Griffey,
good ones.
Edgar, and A-Rod.
Okay, so there's 5 players left, and I will tell you, they all did it one time where they had a season at 150 WRC plus or better, right? And just for listeners who are like, wait, what is it again? It's weighted runs created. So it's basically saying how many runs created, and it's a metric. And 140 means you're a great player. 160 is excellent. 100 is average. These players all had a season with 150 or better.
Now
You
it
need
gets
2 of
harder.
them.
And you
really
said
setting this up.
after 2004.
No, there are seasons all over the place. Like
Okay.
I'm going to tell you the people span the history of the Seattle Mariners. So
Right.
there's at least one name you won't get.
Robinson Cano.
No, he did not. That's your second strike. That is a great guess. I would have guessed Cano. Ready?
I'm ready.
Nelson Cruz in 2015 had a 158 WRC plus.
40
Great
runs
season.
that year.
Yeah.
40.
So Cruz is one. Alvin Davis in 1989. Great Mr. Mariner. Great
Probably
year.
had a couple of those grand slams that year.
Yeah, exactly. Here's one. You probably heard the name, maybe. Ken Phelps.
Yeah. I
Ken
wouldn't have
Phelps,
got it, yeah.
famously, what is he most famous for in Mariners history, by the way?
You traded what for Buhner?
Yes, very good. Seinfeld as well. Ken Phelps traded for Jay Buhner. But Ken Phelps had a season in 1988 where he had a 170 WRC plus, which is second best in Mariners history.
Yeah.
He had another year of 148, twice a 143. Ken Phelps, according to this metric, was a great player for 4 years and maybe was the right trade by George Steinbrenner, and maybe George Costanza should chill out a little bit. But here's why they loved him. If you go look at his numbers, it's pretty interesting to look at old stuff. He'd have like 24 homers and like 60 RBIs, which is super weird. But he'd hit like 280. His strikeout and his walk rates would both be like 15% or something. Like he had a great eye and the stat loved him. So Ken Phelps, really interesting one. Tom Paciorek in 1981. I was guessing you didn't know that one. He was maybe the first good Mariners hitter in history for the Mariners. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think he was. And then the one that will really shock you and probably everybody, with 200 plate appearances minimum,
Richie Sexton.
Victor Robles last year had a 154.
Wow.
He was incredible
yeah.
last year.
Wow, that was an eye-opening exercise.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. Well, I don't know. Maybe it put people to sleep. I nerded out on it like usual, so.
Yeah,
I've got
awesome.
the whole list here in front of me. I will send it to you. Okay.
So you gave me something very quantitative. I'll give you something very qualitative. So
perfect.
The whole Shedeur Sanders thing got me thinking about father-son duos in the NFL. But I want to bring you back to the Huskies because Carson Bruner was drafted by the Steelers, who also drafted his dad, Mark Bruner. Now, query whether there was some like nepotism going on because apparently Mark Bruner is a scout for the Steelers. I don't know if that means he has any say.
Was it Carson Bruner in the 7th round?
Yeah.
He should 100% be drafted.
Yeah.
Like he played his butt off.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, hopefully he ends up being better than he's expected to be. But here's my question for you. Can you name 5 duos? So I already named 2, so you can't use those.
Okay.
5 father and son duos in the NFL history, obviously.
Just ever?
Just ever. Yeah. Can you do it?
Oh yeah, totally can.
All right, I have a list of 52 in front of me.
2 Sopo, just to keep it with the Huskies.
Oh well, yeah. I guess they're not good enough, so they're not on this list. But yes.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
Manu played for the Seahawks, and Marcus obviously
played for the Raiders.
And many other people.
Yeah.
The Mannings.
Yes. By the way, that would be nuts if Archie Manning makes it because that's like 4.
Oh, the younger one.
The younger one, right?
Yeah. Although his dad is not one of the ones who played in the NFL.
It's kind of like
I don't know how that counts or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Hewards aren't on there because the dad didn't play in the NFL. Well, I got really confident, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait a second. Let me think about this. Shoot. I feel like I want to go. It's easier to think of like skill positions, but then it's just hard to think of random father-son duos in NFL history.
This is pretty good. I have some Seahawks. Can you name the Seahawks who are on this list? That's tough.
I feel like I should be able to, shouldn't I?
Yeah. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow, on this list?
Yeah. There's 5.
What?
This would have been the top 5. I blew it. All right. I'll give you a hint.
Wow. Wait. Oh, this is hard. Wait, let me think. Quarterbacks. There has to be a quarterback fit on this list. Like a backup that we had recently.
There's people yelling right now.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. I'm just saying, like, listening.
No, I know. Yeah.
Yelling the answers.
Well, it's not Hasselbeck. It's not Moon.
Yes.
What?
Matt Hasselbeck's dad had an 8-year career.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. That's right.
John Hasselbeck.
Right. I'm thinking of
RIP.
Okay, so here's the problem. I'm thinking of guys, which is weird because I didn't do it with the Mannings, but I'm thinking of guys who have like kids now or younger.
Yeah.
And I need to think about those who had older, dads who played in the NFL. Okay, well that's a good one. This is gonna go on too long. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it.
Okay,
Wait, let me think of tight ends. I feel like there's tight ends who have had in the NFL. No, I got nothing. I'm done. I give up.
Wow, you didn't get.
Yeah,
wow.
I couldn't even do it. Give me the Seahawks.
George and Jamal Adams. So George Adams was a running back.
Talk about old
Drafted
presidents.
in the first
Sounds like an
round
old
of
president.
1980.
George Adams.
Yeah. Ricky Prohl and Austin Prohl.
Yeah.
Seahawks. And then the last one was DK Metcalf's dad played guard for the Bears.
Yeah, I did not know that. Wait, Ricky Prohl played for the Seahawks? I'm stuck on that.
Let's see.
That's wild. Why do I not remember that?
Yeah,
Interesting.
17-year career. I mean, if you play in the NFL for 17 years,
No, I knew he played for a long
Yeah.
time, but
yeah,
I just don't remember him playing for the Seahawks. That's crazy.
yeah,
Oh, wait. No, 95, 96. Interesting.
yeah. Mosi and Lofa Tutupu. Mosi.
Oh, Tutupu, I should have known.
Yeah,
Ricky Prohl really sucked with the Seahawks.
yeah.
He was good for everybody else.
Trey Terrell and Tremaine Edmonds.
Oh, I know Tremaine
Yeah.
Edmonds. Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of Seahawks.
Yeah,
on
way,
this
way to
list.
pick something really hard that I couldn't get. Thanks, Kev. That was fun. Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta do hard things. The hardest one makes it great.
Well, they were yelling at me probably last week for the Grand Slam, so when I didn't guess Griffey or Buhner, and I confidently said Kyle Seager was number one. A little rusty here on the trivia. We might have to go back to like top 5 sandwiches in Seattle next week. Just to,
God, we're closing in on the
feel-
1 year mark.
I know. What are we gonna do? God, we got to do something,
Yeah.
or not, or we just keep rolling. You know,
No. We gotta do something special for episode 50.
we need a good guest for 1
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
or maybe we should have like 5-minute segments with our top listeners. You know, as our 1 year
That's a
anniversary.
great idea.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're gonna have to do some recording. We can even start now and get it ready.
Yeah.
But
A
you know,
listener.
a top 5
centric.
with each listener, with our
That would
top
be
5
good.
listeners.
Yeah. There you go.
And then we do a top 5 with each of them, and it's a special segment at the end.
Well, if you're interested in participating, hit us up.
Yeah, start sharing on social media.
Yeah.
Start liking. You can't just subscribe. You got to get other people to subscribe and
Yeah.
show us proof, and then you can be one of the top 5 listeners to be featured on our 1-year anniversary episode in 5 weeks.
Shout out to Peyton Henry. Have a great week.
See ya.